What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to focus in on James Reimer's future in Toronto as the Leafs look towards yet another season without the postseason. And, it's a tough draw, to trade a guy that was, a big reason why he was successful last year. But, I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, they made the move for Bernier. They decided Bernier was their man. They kept Reimer, and then Reimer has been god awfully atrocious as of late. I know he kind of came off the bench and saved him against the Bruins, but bottom line is he was not effective for most of recently. I mean, the Winnipeg game was a disaster. The Devils game wasn't great, and then that Tampa Bay Lightning game a couple nights ago, actually about 3 weeks ago, I should say, was a complete and total unmitigated effing disaster. And then I think it's psychologically he's done in Toronto. You can blame the fans. I happen to blame the front office for bringing in Bernier and not trying to facilitate a trade for him. But it's tough. And I thought Reimer was a good foot soldier for the first part of the year. But then this it's kind of come part of the seams. I think he's 1-4 in his last 5 appearances. So that's. Toronto misses the playoffs by 2 points. You can look at that. I think Reimer's going to end up in Winnipeg. I talked about Connor Hellebuck yesterday, and I know Winnipeg has Eric Omri in the wings as well, but neither one of those guys are really knocking on the door right now. And I think bringing in Reimer can be a good stopgap. And I mean, he's from that part of Canada. I know he's from Western Canada. He's from Manitoba, and that's a good thing. Closer to home. And I hope he can bounce back. I mean, if he's going to become a capable number one goalie, it's not going to be in Toronto, just because of, the way the last year essentially is going. Since the Bernier trade, so that was 11 months ago, 11 months ago. But I think I wouldn't just give up on Reimer and write him off. I think you can still get assets back for him. He's a restricted free agent, as is Bernier. The money is on LA re-signing Bernier, and not LA, Toronto. He was in LA for so long that it was, but the money's on Toronto, re-signing Bernier, making him a big part of their future and their number one goalie going forward. So what do they get back for Reimer? Third or fourth round pick. Nothing too serious, but I think he can play at the NHL level, and he obviously, but I think the recent trends were more of a setback and more of a blip on the radar screen, not exactly a normal thing with him. And again, I like him as a goalie. I mean, is he Tuukka Rask or Ben Bishop? No, but he's not a bad NHL goaltender. And I think just the way it went down in Toronto this year is part of the reason he was unsuccessful. And I don't fault the Bruins collapse or the collapse against the Bruins on him on him entirely. I mean, he should have had a couple of goals, but at the same time, his defense got to take their business, and they didn't. So. Anywho, and I think that's part of the bottom line of Toronto this year. Him and Bernier had great numbers early in the season, despite giving up a ton of shots, and eventually they cracked. Eventually, the amount of shots they were giving up caught up with them. That's part of it. And, if Toronto wants to be a legitimate contender going forward beyond this season, they're going to need to tighten up defensively and make, their goalies' lives, whether it's Bernier, whether it's whoever, easier. Make the shots against go down and make the shots against less quality, but we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, that's on this episode of the Power Play with CJ on James Reimer's future going forward. Stay tuned for episodes for the season and beyond. Later, guys.